Alright, here we go. Welcome to these notes for surface area and volume of pyramids and cones. Today you will find the lateral area, surface area, and volume of pyramids and cones. So let's get this started, shall we? So let's talk about this first. First, let's talk about a pyramid. A pyramid is basically, well, you can see the definition earlier when we covered this at the beginning. But, you know, you could say that a pyramid was a solid with one base that faces meet at a point. So, look, there's a point. Okay, got a point. All right. Now, so, the idea here is, now, keep in mind, there's some new things we're going to have to pay attention here. There was what I refer to as a slant height. You can see they use an L. I'll use an L like this, so kind of know how I do that. And then there's the regular height. The regular height goes from that point straight down to like the center of the base. Okay, notice it will make a 90-degree angle at the base. So notice here, I don't need the slant height right now, but I will need to find the perimeter. So you have to make sure you can find the perimeter of the base for the lateral area and the surface area, and you got to find the area of the base. The height, this height here, will come into play for the volume, and we'll look at that in a minute. But right now, we just need the surface areas. Okay, so before I do this, again, make sure you note what you need. You need the lateral area. I'm sorry, the slant height. So let's do that, slant height, which in this case is going to be 11.7. You need the perimeter. The perimeter in this case would be 8, 8, 8, 8. So 32. I'm just going to write the numbers because I don't need more than that. And then you want the area of the base. We use a capital B for that. I actually used to use a capital P for this perimeter, but whatever. Anyways, and then that's 8 times 8 because that's a rectangle or a square. So because this is a square pyramid, you know, and so there I would say that would be 8 times 8, which would be 64. Hey, why is my night write the 64? Don't be mean to me. All right, there we go. Now, the reason why I do that is because once I do that, then I've pretty much got everything I need to answer these questions. Like the lateral area, according to this, would be 1/2 the slant height, 11.7, times the perimeter, 32. Okay, the surface area, I'll put it right here, is going to be that lateral area. So this 1/2 11.7 times 32 plus the area of the base, which is 64. And there you go. Okay, so you can see here I got an answer of 187.2 meters squared and 251.2 meters squared. Now, somebody may ask, why would I choose lateral area, or why would I even have to do lateral area if it's going to be part of the surface area formula? And you know, that's going to be my whole answer. Well, I think of it like this, and I'll come back to this in a second. But let me do that now. Okay, so you can see I'm a huge artist here. But let's say you are looking at a building. Let's say you're a roofing contractor, and you are trying to think of how much you might want to charge for, say, doing part of a new roof, and you're figuring out that area. The thing is, this right here is the lateral area. That area of the base you wouldn't need because you're not going to roof that part. So you're really only thinking along, when you're doing this, you're only thinking along these sides here, and you're not worrying about that base area to find that. So that is something, I think, the reason why we even worry about lateral area. That's just something off the top of my head. And it would help you to, say, make a very quick, informed judgment and idea. That would help. I mean, yesterday, or not yesterday, but the other day, somebody was here to look at something with my patio, and they were able to just kind of calculate based on the shapes and everything, come up with an idea, and it made sense. You know, but that's kind of like, I mean, how quickly can you, because it does help to impress a customer. But anyways. Okay, so let's look at number 3. Number 3 is a little bit different because number 2 is exactly the same. That is a slant height, so you can work with that. But number 3, this is a regular height, and you've got to find the slant height. So you would have to do, like, say, make a right triangle, and you're going to be looking for that Pythagorean theorem. So this goes to 8. So you'd have to do 3 squared plus 8 squared to get the slant height. So, and then, of course, take the square root, because, yeah, I always forget about take the square root. Don't forget to take the square root. So square root of 3 squared plus 8 squared. So this one, notice, usually on this, they'll give you this one, and you got to find this one. You'll be adding those together. If I wanted to go backward from the slant height back, I would be subtracting. So, I mean, this is stuff that we've done. This is the reason why we keep going over Pythagorean theorem. So here I get that the slant height is 8.5. I got 5.4. So I'm just going to put here 8.5. It's going to get me close enough to where I can do that. Okay, so the slant height here is going to be 8.5. Okay, that's this little length right here. So again, I've already got the slant height. Perimeter here would be 64. And then the area of the base is 16 times 16, which is 256. Okay, so again, the lateral area is equal to 1/2. See, you just had to do a little extra work to find the slant height, and then that one's pretty easy. And then the surface area, which is really just the lateral area plus the area of the base. So once I get this answer, I can actually put it here. I'll show you what I mean. And you can go back and look at number 1. But, so if I do the 1/2 times 8.5 times 64, I get 272. Okay. I don't really need to rewrite this part right here. I can go here and say, okay, 272 plus the area of the base, 256, will give me the surface area. So if I say 272 plus the 256, I get 528. Whoa! Are you kidding me? No, I'm not. Whoa! Alright, so that's surface area and lateral area for pyramids. Now let's look at the volume. Actually, before I look at the volume, let's look at one more problem with a triangular pyramid because, well, I'm just too nice. Anyways, alright, look. Again, identify the things you need. In this case, my slant height is 6.7. That's this number. I can tell that like that. Okay. My perimeter is the 10 plus the 10 plus the 10. So that's 30. And then the area of the base. That's this triangle, right? So I need the height of the triangle, which is 8.7, times the base, half of that. So if I do 1/2 of 8.7 times 10, let's see here. 5/2. Okay, I get 43.5. Okay, and again, all I did was 1/2 base times height triangle. Okay, so when I say that, when I say base and height of a triangle, I'm just talking. I mean, like when I say that this is 1/2 base and height, I'm only talking in terms of the triangle. So I'm ignoring the other numbers. I'm just looking at this shape here for this number. Okay. And then from there, you should be able to find the lateral area and surface area. So I'll let y'all work on that and y'all can finish that up. So now let's look at volume. Okay, so now volume looks at, say, is just 1/3 base, area of base, times the height. So notice on this one, you've got to have the height of the pyramid. So here I need to use the H. Here we go. Okay, so here I'm saying H is 16, and then the area of the base, again, is, here's a rectangle, so this would be 110. Okay, so all I got to do here is say the volume is equal to 1/3 times the 16 times the 110. And if you switch those around, that's fine, because I apparently switched them around because it should have been the area of the base first. Whatever. Anyways, you should get a volume of 586.67 inches cubed. Now remember, volume is always in cubic whatever. Cubic inches, cubic whatever, so on and so forth. And again, keep in mind, if you need to do extra, you've got to do extra. So let's look at something like that. Okay, so number 2 would work out just like number 1, but let's look at number 3. Here, they're giving you a slant height. You've got to find the regular height. You got to find... It's more fun with sound effects. Okay, so what do you have here? Again, cut this in half. That's what this does. Okay, so you've got 7 squared plus, say, x squared. We'll say this is x. The height is equal to the 25. Remember, this one and this one add up to the slant squared. So again, that means I need to subtract. So if I'm looking for the height, I am going to subtract the two numbers. If I'm looking for the slant height, I would add. Okay? So again, something like this. And you should get like 24. So the height here is 24. Okay? And then the area of the base is 196. And then we can go from there. The volume is equal to 1/3 times the 24 times 196. And I would get the volume is equal to 1,568 cubic feet. Okay? So hopefully that's getting y'all a pretty good idea of how to do these. And again, if y'all have questions on these type of problems, let me know. Now, let's look at cones. Alright, so again, on a cone, you need right now you need the radius and the slant height when we're talking about lateral area and surface area. If I were to look at, say, the volume, then I would need the regular height. But again, notice again that these three form a right triangle. So that could help you in finding those. Pythagorean theorem. Why does that keep coming back? Alright, so lateral area, because here's my slant height, here's my radius. Lateral area is equal to pi times the radius, in this case the radius, which is 7, and times the slant height, 11.4. Okay, so if I did this, that would give me 79.8 pi, which again would be, okay, so the lateral area would be 250.7 meters squared, or square meters, 79.8 pi. And again, this would be, if I said answer in terms of pi, this would be just a numerical answer. Because again, you will have some teachers that do ask stuff like that. Alright, surface area is supposed to be pi r squared, so 7 squared pi, plus the lateral surface area, which was all that, but I'll go ahead and put it again, 7 times 11.4. Okay, this is going to give you 49 pi, plus that 79.8 pi, which means the final answer would be about 404.64 square meters. Now, again, guys, if you were doing this part of the problem and you just say they wanted the answer in terms of pi, you could add the 49 and 79.8 and get like 128.8 and just put the pi on the end. So that's something to kind of consider. But again, if y'all have questions on that, feel free to ask. Okie dokie. Now, how can I make that difficult? Look at number 9. I'm getting there. Number 9, I've got a height. I've got a slant height. I do not have a radius. So how do I find it? Again, if you get the slant height, subtract. If you get the height, or I'm sorry, like if you were looking for the slant height, you would add the two numbers together. But if you have the slant height, then you subtract. So in this case, I'm going to say 27.3 squared minus 25.2 squared, and then take the square root, and that should give me the radius. Okay, so I do that in my calculator, and when I do that in my calculator, I get 10.5 is the radius. Okay, so this radius is 10.5. So now I have all the information I need to find the lateral area and the surface area. So again, here I would say pi times the radius 10.5 times the slant height of 27.3. And what I would get there is 200 and, let me double check, 10.5 times 27.3, and I get 286.65 pi. Okay, and then again, if I want to change that to a numerical answer, I could do that, and see here, times pi, and get 900.53. What is this again? Inches cubed, or cubic, I'm sorry, square inches. I want to say cubic, I'm thinking volume. Oh no. Alright, so now let's look at surface area. Surface area again is pi times 10.5 squared, pi r squared, plus all this other stuff. Okay, so again, this answer in terms of pi, I'm just doing these numbers and I put the pi at the end. So this would give me 110.25 pi. We already know from this one, this is 286.65 pi. And if I added those two together, let's see here, plus 286.65, I get 396, apparently I can't read, 396.9 pi, okay? And then again, I can convert that to a full numerical answer if I want, if it's asked for me. It depends on what, again, the question is asking. I would probably just prefer numerical answers, but you're going to have, like I said, teachers that may want more, okay? So you get the idea. Here are my two answers that I needed, and we go from there. All right, so let's look at the volume of a cone, and then we'll be done. Okay, so, and again, for volume, notice here we need the height. So this one is 1/3 pi times the 1/3 pi times the radius squared times height, which is easy on like number 7, because on number 7 we've got that, right? But what about number, say, like 9 or number whatever? Okay, so like here, obviously you've got the radius, so here you can say 1/3 times pi times 9 squared times the height, 17. You could type that in, get an answer. Again, if you wanted to do this with in terms of pi, you would just do all the other stuff. So 9 squared times 17. So like here, I can get 459 pi. And then if I want the numerical answer, I could do that, 1,441.99 cubic yards. Go from there. Now, keep in mind, like, okay, here, I've got the height, which again, I need height, not slant height, I need height. But this is a diameter. So the radius is equal to 5 divided by 2, so 2.5. Then you can plug it into the formula. Okay? So I'll let y'all do number 8. Because let's look at number 9. That's the one I kind of want to finish on. Number 9, first off, we got to get the radius. So we got to divide this 27 by 2. So 27 divided by 2 gives me 13.5. So the radius is 13.5. Now I've got a slant height, but I need a regular height. So how do I find it again? I need to subtract the 22.5 squared minus the radius squared and take the square root. So here I would say the 22.5 squared, hold up here, 22.5 squared minus the 13.5 squared, and again take the square root, and I get that the height is 18. So the height is 18. Then, oh goodness gracious, I did not give myself much room for this one. Oh, but I'm doing volume. Alright, so volume is equal to 1/3 pi times the radius 13.5 squared times 18, and you should be able to get your answer. I'll let y'all finish that one out. Hey, alright, so guys, what I believe you should be able to do Okay, so what I believe you should be able to do is problems for the CP group. For my CP group, you need to be able to do from pages 1 and 2 and 5 and 6, problems 1 through 9. So that's like 18 problems, but I've already done some of them in the notes anyway. But finish it out, okay? And if there's problems with them or you don't understand something, ask questions. If you're in my pre-AP class, I expect you to do all those problems plus half the problems from the rest of the pages. Now, if y'all have questions, again, feel free to ask. If you don't understand something, if you feel like you're missing a number or you need help, send the question. Ask. If you're in my CDB classes and would like to, say, maybe do a little bit extra to get ready for next year or to be ready for a bigger challenge, try to do some of the problems from that I'm asking the AP. You don't have to do like half, but try to do what you can. Anyways, guys, a lot of this is how much of it can we rise to the challenge? And I do believe that we are very strong individuals, and I believe y'all are an excellent group. Rise to the challenge. Show that you can do it. This is not about, this is about, let me rephrase that. This is about, showing that you have this ability. Because, again, guys, we don't know how this situation is going to play out. But at the same time, the idea is, how do you prepare yourself? How do you approach challenges? How do you, all these things. And I know this is like, it's just schoolwork and whatever. And I'll be different when it comes to other stuff. Maybe. But why not go ahead and give yourself that little grain of thought to do something good, to be more for yourself, be more for your family, be more for just anything. Be your better self. Anyways, that's my soapbox moment, I guess. Y'all take care. Thank you so much for your time. And again, send me your questions. I'm doing my best to make sure I can answer them all. Y'all take care.